Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Shop Talk. We have Richard Caprioli here. He is our regional sales manager and also a global real estate advisor with us. And so we're going to sit down today and we're going to talk a little bit about you, your kind of your resume of how long you've been in real estate. And we're going to pick your brain about some of your favorite places in Austin. So buckle up, Buttercup, and get ready. But okay, so you've been an agent for what, 18 years, right?
18 years. I got licensed at the very end of 2005.
Wow.
Right. So I really started real estate 2006, right before in Austin, the market changed dramatically, like in the 2007, 2008 kind of housing.
Really bad.
Right.
Really, really bad. And you've been with Engel. Well, we were Turnquist partners before we were Engel and Völkers. So how long have you been with the brokerage?
I joined Turnquist Partners in 2009 or 10, right around there. So it's been about 15 years.
15 years, yeah.
Right.
You've been with us a long time. Yeah. And then you've been the sales manager for us for what, about?
I was going to say 5 years, maybe.
I think it's about 5. And you know what I think is so interesting is we really value the importance of someone as a sales manager who is also still selling. And I know a lot of people are always like, oh my gosh, why? But for us, it's important because you have been, I mean, you've sold over 20 million in sales, 23 million in sales. You know, you have been a top producer. So you know what it takes to get there. But also having you still in the real estate game, I feel like you can accurately and effectively help our agents with any questions.
I think it helps you keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the market, you know, when you're actively out there also, you know, helping your clients. And, you know, you're actively using contracts and forms and new forms and dealing with all the new things that we're dealing with right now. Right. You know, it's a constantly evolving business. And I think to be out there and actively selling and using all the resources and tools that you do as a real estate agent, it helps you help other agents.
Yeah, no, of course. So you have your whole family here, right? Pretty much your whole family is here now?
Yes, everybody's here. Yeah. So I'm originally from Houston, and then my family kind of slowly migrated to Austin, all for different reasons, but we all ended up here. So I moved here right when I got licensed.
Probably because Houston's overcrowded. No,
right. Love Houston, but Austin, you know, it's been home since 2005.
Yeah.
You know, and my mom is here, and both my sisters are here, and all 6 of my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Well, the first one is now off to college, so there's 5 left here. But, you know, it's fun being Uncle Richard and getting to do the things I get to do with them. But, you know, since I don't have kids of my own, it's nice having nieces and nephews. And I always say I like picking them up, we do things, and I can drop them back off.
You can give them back.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Great, that's great. Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what are your favorite, for people here, because, you know, Austin has changed so much. And I think I've said that in a few episodes.
Well, it has changed a lot, and I feel like sometimes it gets this negative connotation. I hear like, oh, well, Austin's changed, and Austin's not the same. Well, of course it has, right? And maybe, you know, some people say some of the kind of local flavors been diluted a little bit, but it's still there. You just have to look for it.
You do have to look for it.
And you have to know. But yes, I mean, with progress comes, you know, things getting torn down, new buildings going up. I mean, so yes, the skyline has changed, and there are a lot of people, you know, that have come in from other places, but at its core, I think it's still such a great city, and there are so many neat places to go and discover, and live music and restaurants, and you know, people come in here. We just kind of got used to it. But when I have friends or people come in from out of town and they say, oh my gosh, there's so much to do here. This is great. You almost forget when you live here. It's
That's
seeing
so
it through
true.
somebody else's eyes when they come here.
Yeah.
And you realize, wow, there is so much to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend who was like, we're doing a bachelorette party here in my hometown. Like, not very fun, but they all thought it was a blast. Just
You
'cause
probably
there was
know
so
this,
much to do.
but I think that it's like the number one destination for, I think, bachelor or bachelorette parties or weddings, you know, in the U.S. or one of the top.
You can do so much. You can go on the lake. You can, I mean, there's, you know, you have the lake, and then you have the city, you have the downtown. I mean, I think.
In an hour, you can be in the hill country and
and do
go
wine
to wine
tasting.
and
Yep. So it is unique in that aspect. Everything is so, I guess, close. But okay, so you need to tell us, okay, so yes, Austin has changed a lot, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of new restaurants, and I always say, like, I can never keep up with it. When people ask me, what what's a new place to go to? I'm like, I don't know. So I'm trying to keep myself educated, but why don't you tell us a couple of your favorite places, staples that you feel like people have to go to if they're here in Austin?
Okay, well, some things change, but some things remain the same. Okay, so one of my favorite all-time places forever is Don's Depot downtown.
So is the best. Okay, tell people if they have never heard of Don's Depot.
So Don's Depot to me is just, it has been a place. So my story of first kind of discovering Don's is this was in a summer, it's probably right after I moved here, it was probably around 2006. And it was a hot summer day. I mean, it was probably one of those 105-degree days.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard of it. I had never been. And I had a dear friend. It was in the afternoon, too. I think it was probably a weekend. And he said, well, let's just go get a drink at Don's and cool off, right? Like, kind of go sit somewhere in the air conditioning and have a cold beer, right? And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't know where this place is. So we pull up, walk in. It's ice cold inside. I mean, they probably had that AC at like 68. It felt so good. And sat there, and there was a group of people, because this was the afternoon,
right,
watching Jeopardy. Like, there was a group of people watching Jeopardy in the bar area, right? There was a popcorn machine. And so cooling off, having a beer, having some popcorn, watching people watch Jeopardy. And and the waitress who's still there, who I still see, is, wonderful when I go in. She's been there all these years, right? And it's just, I just like had an instant connection there, right? And then going in the evening when the band, Don and the Station Masters or whoever's playing, it's a whole different vibe, right? And, in the evening, the live band is playing. And one thing that I love is, well, it's a great people watching no matter what.
Of course.
But there is a really interesting mix of kind of a young, newer generation that's discovered it to go in.
Yeah.
And then there are, a generation of people that have probably been going there, for a long, long time. And just to see, people out dancing with each other and listening to the live band, it is just the coolest vibe. I love that place. You can't not go there and not have a good time.
Right. And like, I think, how would you describe it? It's definitely like dive.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say it's a dive
bar-esque.
bar. It's not fancy inside, right? I think the carpet's probably, been there for 40
OG,
years.
red
right.
OG carpet.
And it's like decorated. Now at Christmas, they go really, really over
Super
the top
fun.
and it's awesome. There's lights and Christmas stuff everywhere. But I think now a lot of the Christmas stuff is up year round. Maybe not all of it, but there's a lot of lights. But, it's, yes, I think you could call it a dive bar. But
it feels small town, right?
Yes,
Doesn't it?
and it's cozy, it's comfortable. The service is incredible.
Yes.
It's just, it's a real
great
fun.
price drinks. I
mean,
it's
right.
great.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the bathrooms are a little wonky when you go in there. I feel like you.
Well, the women's bathroom is I think it's an old caboose.
It's an old
so
caboose.
it's kind of inside the bar, but you can kind of see it from the exterior.
I feel like it's like a circus esque feeling, like when you're in that bathroom. It's so interesting. It is so interesting.
Well, I don't know about the women's bathroom, but but it's a cool place. And I've gone to happy hours there before. Right. And so you go in the afternoon, it's a totally different vibe than at night when the music is playing and all that. So I think that's a great place to bring people. Don's top on my list. Of course, there's a Broken Spoke, right? But I'm not comparing them, but Don's is just my spot. Right. But I think, I
don't really see you country dancing.
No, but I love to watch people, right? So the people watching in any of those places is the best.
Great, yeah.
And I mean, and this is probably what everybody says on a must-have place you bring people, but I do think Matt's El Rancho is just like a classic place to also bring people in Austin for authentic Tex-Mex. It's been there since
the best margaritas.
The 1940s, great margaritas, Bob Armstrong queso. I mean, all of that.
It's amazing. I took some of my friends that had moved here from California a couple years ago, and they were like, oh my gosh, this place is so packed. It was a Friday night hometown or home UT game. Bad idea. Okay. But it's just it's an experience you have to do. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is so crowded. But they were like, the food is so great. The best margaritas. It was just an experience.
And the nice time of year, you can sit out outside on the big, huge patio, right? But it has gotten super crowded. Forget trying to go on a Friday night at, 5 o'clock.
No,
you're going to wait and it's too crowded. So you kind of have to go to some of these places on the off times.
Yeah, no, for sure. Where you've lived kind of all over Austin.
I've mostly been,
right?
yes, I have. I've mostly been a South Austin person, and I've kind of slowly over the years migrated a little more southwest. So, I started off in Austin living kind of over Old Torf and Lamar, right?
Right.
And, 18 years ago, I mean, it's way different than it is now.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, there was still a lot of like mechanic shops along South Lamar. There weren't all these new apartments and restaurants and, all these newer things, right? So it was a different, South Austin then. But I've kind of slowly then moved further south, and I moved over more off like, well, Manchac or Menchaca, right? And that's kind of where right next door I lived to where I sold that community. And then I ended up now, for 10 years now, I've been in Southwest Austin.
Yeah.
So kind of a little more
and
west.
You love it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm close to downtown. I can be, non-traffic times.
Yeah.
I can be downtown in 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I can be here to the office in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think if you are an Austinite or you've been here for a while, you also learn the traffic times if you can help it, right? To when to get on the freeway and when not to. Right.
Well, and you're seeing so many people move a little bit more on the outskirts too, just because of affordability. I think someone asked me, they were like, "Oh, you're all the way out in Lake Travis," and I said, "Yeah, well, of course, because at the time it was a little more affordable. You could get a little bit more bang for your buck."
But those places don't seem that far now.
No,
I mean, it's all relative. But I mean, where I'm at in like West Creek, I mean that probably 10 or 15 years ago seemed like it was further southwest Austin, but now it's incredibly central, right? I mean, now I don't think of anything of running out to Kyle or, Buda or going up north somewhere, right? Georgetown.
Well, they also have done good getting some of those tollways, especially that Kyle Parkway tollway over there. So they've done a good job.
I'm a tollway person. I love getting on the tollways.
I know. They're expensive, but they work.
Right,
yeah.
I know.
Well, awesome. Well, this is so good. It's so fun to sit down and talk to our advisors because we really do have such great people working for us. And I say that each time, but we really do. But it's also, we have people that have been with us for so long.
Right.
Which is, kind of a testament to the brand, but also a testament to the type of people that we like to hire. So, so it's been fun to get to sit.
I think I love that you're getting a chance to talk to everybody. And I mean, I love meeting, new advisor that we have that have joined and become part of the team. And then we have, of course, people been here longer than I have. Right. And so it's nice to see the kind of spread and everybody kind of get to know each other and really truly work as a team. Right.
No, for sure. Well, and I think it's important now more than ever to be with a global brand, when we always say you can sell a house when the market's good, right? But when the market's bad, it matters who you work for and it matters who you work with, right? So as a seller, it's important that you have someone on your team that can sell your house in a bad market. You know what I mean?
Well, and Austin, I mean, is an international city.
Right.
Right? I mean, look at the flights from the airport going to, more and more international destinations, nonstops, right? I mean, Austin is on the global map. Right. And through Engel Völkers, the connectivity we have to other countries and other cities within Texas or across the United States. Right. It's more and more important in real estate, I think, to have those connections, those real connections.
Yes. No, for sure. I think so, too. Well, Richard, thank you for sitting down and chatting with us. I love to hear your favorite places in Austin because we always love to hear what people remember or what people think, oh, these are our go-tos, right? Even though, like you said, Austin has changed, it's so fun to hear what people really do love about this city.
It's changed, but the local flavor is still there. You just have to find it.
Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you, Richard. We appreciate it. And that's all we got. Thanks for joining.
Hey, I'm Brandon Sparks with Nautilus Lending, based right here in Central Texas. We're a full-service mortgage operation and brokerage, serving Greater Texas as well as Florida and Tennessee. One of the greatest things about our shop is our ability to facilitate creative financing. What that means is that anything legally possible, we can get it funded. You want to find out more? Reach out to us, www.nautiluslending.com. That's www.nautiluslending.com.